Welcome to Dark Sorcery. I'm Alfredo Martinez, and I have with me JoJo Sanchez. JoJo, good to have you on, my man.
Man, it's good to be here. Good to be here.
That's a. I just want to point out that that's a good last name. My mom's a Sanchez, so right on, man. Anyway, so it's good to have you on. So I like the Aztec calendar in the back, represent our blood and stuff. So go ahead and tell me uh how your spiritual journey began.
Um, okay, well, first of all, I'm an independent teacher and I'm a prison reformer. So I reform prison the way that prison should be ran educationally in the state of Texas.
Okay.
Now, I dabble in sorcery because in Texas we've been dealing with first off, I wanna say, have you ever heard of Jose Thomas Canales?
I have. I have heard that name before, but I can't make a connection. Go ahead
Yeah,
and
he was a lawyer in Brownsville, Texas, and he was one of the main ones who stood up against the Texas Rangers back in the day. So I want to dedicate this video to him, and you know, I'm not fighting the Texas Rangers, but the prison system over here in Texas it's bad. It's really bad. And so I'm doing my own thing. And so when sorcery comes around, sorcery is to get me into these loopholes to get into like jail access and then building these curriculums. So it's really nice to channel that kind of energy in this kind of field of work.
right on, right on. So did you grow up in church? Did you have any kind of a religious upbringing in your home?
Yeah, my family's religious. I left the house at an early age. I ran the streets a lot. Um, Robbery seemed to be my thing. Um, Not selling drugs, but robbery was my thing. For
Right.
some reason, for some reason in my mind, I felt like robbery. If I was going to be a millionaire, robbery was going to get me there. And so that being said, my most of my life I've been locked up. But most of my early years I've been locked up in the county jail. And this is where I grew up, and this is where I confronted spirit because I was into the Bible for a minute while I was in jail until I seen the pastor get punked by the other inmates, and then I was like, man, this can't be it. There's people who are trying to do right should not be getting picked on like this, and so I would just, I had spoke to spirit in a certain way that I knew that spirit would hear me out. So don't laugh, but in the county jail in Texas, we have showers that are we have one man showers. So one day I was in the shower after, just doing some hardcore pondering, and I told spirit, the creator, whoever created me, um, let me know that you're real and show me through books, what I need to be learning, what I need to be doing. And to make it real, I got on my knees right there in the shower, and I just told Spirit, come through for me. Now, if you in the county jail, you know you're not supposed to be touching that shower floor because that's where a lot of people release stuff. But that's where I knew God would hear me right there. And so after that, a couple days later, the library came around, and I was getting books after books after books. And that's really what inspired me to build something for my people because the first book I had picked up was String Theory by uh, Hawkins. And in one of the
Okay.
chapters, it was a Renaissance chapter about the scientists, the Renaissance artists, and they were going against the clergy of the church at that time, talking about the measurements in a roof. If the Because the measurements need to be precise, the roof will collapse in a certain time. And the clergy used to laugh at them, and the roof ended up falling down. And you know what I'm saying? It just showed me a good light on the Renaissance artists and the scientists at that time, where I was like, you know what? I need to build a school where it's got to be like a Renaissance school where people are just learning stuff. So that's really where I got my inspiration from.
Okay, so you feel like people who are incarcerated, are not getting the proper teachings available to them. Occultism is seen by most people in society as something negative, something people shouldn't be touching. But you have a dream and a desire to bring occultism to these inmates that are going to lift them up and empower them. Is that right?
Yeah. That's I'm working on a rehabilitation center, a re-entry center. So it's gonna be something
Okay.
for them to do when they get out.
Okay. So this will help get them on their feet and stuff like that. So um now there's a lot of Christian groups, a lot of Christian teachings available to these inmates. And what do you see wrong in the way that Christianity is teaching them and trying to get through to them?
Yeah. So what I've seen a lot in the system is these module packets. So you'll have like book James, John, these packets that are different chapters of the Bible, and then they'll ask you questions, and you get a little certificate, and supposedly that's what gets a lot of people to change their lives. So basically, it's biblical counseling is something that's kind of like the highest point to to it's the highest education one can get while locked up is biblical counseling, or that's the highest help one can get. And what we're doing in this reentry system is not biblical counseling. So biblical counseling is like you tell me your problem, and I'm gonna give you a Bible quote, and somehow the situation is gonna get resolved like that. But I don't believe that. I believe more in so my system, we are recreating what a Christian is. So in my system, my reentry system, in my curriculums, we teach Christians how to be Christian historians. Not only that, but Christian psychiatrists. So they'll be already going home and learning how to deal with stress management, how to reduce stress in their mothers, their grandmas, their whoever they're living with, give them practical therapeutic tools. That's what people think is so hard to do therapeutic practices. And so if it has to be in the name of Jesus or Christians, then then so be it, because that's what's hot right now. So we just got it. We're changing the game, but we're just keeping the same terminology.
So is your goal maybe to switch it around to, like, let's say, from Jesus to, let's say, um maybe a spirit from the Goetia, or some kind of spirit that people can access, something, maybe it could be a demon, it could be maybe an ancestor or an elemental. Even is the goal to shift focus more towards that kind of spirituality?
Yeah, most definitely. These Christians are going to be graduating from the system. They're going to be learning Kabbalah as well. So working with cosmic entities,
Okay.
working with Sephiroth. So you know what I'm saying? It's all up in there. But not only do we offer this Christian system, we also offering them. I'm connected with a Sufi school in Morocco, and this Sufi school is pretty cold with it. I don't know if you know a little bit about Sufi. I know you just covered a video on jinns. Well,
Yeah.
the Sufi school that I'm in, they're under Sheikh Andu Bamba. I don't know if you ever heard of Sheikh Andu Bamba.
I'm not familiar with that. No,
Okay,
go ahead, man.
Sheikh Andu Bamba is supposed to be like this is like a prophet in Africa, in Senegal, Africa, and they go hard with the Zergs and stuff like that. But anyways, the French military tried to take him out because he was bringing unity, and so they send him into the jungle where there's nothing but jinns. Long story short, there's jinns in that Sufi order. So there's jinns that are Christian, there's jinns that are Sufis, but a lot of jinns are in the order of Sheikh Andu Bamba in Senegal. It's really tight. It's a different type of Sufi. It's not Arabic Sufi. It's not like the Arabic. It's just African, and it's led by a brother from New York, and he's been doing the game for a long time. And he's been in Morocco and Senegal, and We got a school out there in Morocco, so I got a real good plug with that going on with the Sufis.
Okay.
Also, we're also offering scholarship, not scholarship, psychologist, historian, different type of things that you can be, and then it's my job to find you a career in that field. So a historian, psychologist, and a classicist. A classicist is one of my favorite because then you get to start reading into these books by these scholars, and it's like a spirit in itself when you're reading through these classicists, the books and stuff like that. I don't know if you're a big book reader, but you know when you read a
Yeah.
book, you go through some stuff.
Of course. I'm definitely a big reader of books and supporter of books. But everyone has their own way of learning. But would you agree that when people turn to Christianity, that sometimes when Christianity teaches you to put yourself down and to think that you're not as good as the creator and this type of thing, do you see something wrong with that's being taught? Basically, I see it as knocking people's self-esteem. That's not good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's called patriotic. I'm calling it patriotic Christian, and this is something that we call out in our school. Most definitely, we don't want no one to be affected by it. Even though a lot of them are affected by it, we reprogram it, but we don't have no problems of spreading that type of mental disease out there after my program. But yeah, we get into that shit, and that's real. That's real. But that time is over now. See, the type of Christians that we're training, we get into some of that. I don't know if you ever read the book Mystical Ancient Christian Magic.
No, but I mean, I'm aware that Christianity was something completely different. Um, that was intended to be something completely different. But no, I haven't read that book. Go ahead and tell me about that book.
Yeah, so it's by Marvin Myers and it's called Ancient Christian Magic. And in that book, there's a prayer and it's a thunder prayer. And it's about like 400 or 300 Christians were like doing a battle cry in a battle of a lake that was frozen over. And they fell through the lake. And it was just a prayer that some Christians kept to the side and stuff like that. So this is like it's a different type of Christianity that we're learning and uncovering. And not only that is we're also paving a way for this new type of mentality. Because all this patriotic, all this Christianity that we're used to, it got to go out the window. This is not
Yeah,
helping our people at all.
it's not. It's definitely bringing people down, and it's kind of giving people just a sheep and a herd mentality, which is not something they need. They need to be thinking more independent. They need to have confidence in themselves and you know be able to go about it the right way. Now I noticed it looks like you have like a rosary on. What is that? Is that
Yeah, yeah. It was I'm still close with my family, and it was just it was my brother's baptism the other day, so I'm
okay?
still rocking that baptism.
Yeah, well, I mean the cross, it has it doesn't necessarily have to mean Christianity. It can mean the four elements. It has a very deep mystical and occult origin to it. So, but yeah, right on, man. Now the thing about, I mean, let me ask you this: your program, does it give inmates knowledge that they can actually practice while inside? You know what I mean? Like they can visualize things. They can do sigil magic, path working, that type of thing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We do a lot of path working. Um, most definitely. Visualization work. See, the hardest thing for our people right now is to see ourselves in the highest light. We don't have role models in the cult world. When we say a cult world, we just really getting back to our own original shit. So when we think about our original shit, we think about men with feather caps and stuff like that. You know, like these Native American kind of dressing. They don't look at me and you and be like, "Oh, this is something that we can do." You know, and so this path working is like being able to see themselves as um the highest light. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's hard for people to see themselves in a higher light after Christianity done told them like you know what I'm saying? Like they're sinful and filthy and stuff like that. So just it's a work
Yeah.
in itself, just doing that type of path of working alone. But yeah, most definitely. I do a book list. I'm running a book list program where I'll go into the jails and introduce them to different type of scholars and stuff like that as well.
Right on. So would you say that most of the inmates that you talk to have a desire for something deeper than the Christianity they've been taught? Like they have an open mind to occultism when you speak on it.
Yeah, so my doorway is psychology, man. A lot of people are interested in well, number one, people who are locked up, the number one book a lot of people refer to is the 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction. So that already lets you know our people are already trying to do something with their mind or know that they can, work some ways and stuff like that by doing psychological techniques. So I think
Mhm.
there's a big door for psychological working to be done and then get into the deeper cult work. But it's a process.
Yeah. So now you had mentioned about books. Now, are there any particular occult books that have inspired you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dion Fortune, man. I'm a big
Okay.
fan.
Right on.
I know what you mean. Motherfucker.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Uh
right on. Anybody else?
Dion Fortune. I'm into a lot of Sufi books. I'm finna crack open some Hindu stuff. I'm into a little bit of Hindu, a book called Darshan, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Um, about visualization and stuff like that. A couple YouTubers as well got me into a lot of stuff too. But yeah, Awaken the Healing Light. You ever heard that one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's by Chia. You know Chia?
Yeah. Right on. Right on.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll be into his books and be using his books. And a book that's really inspired me right now is the concept of a flying dragon, which is the secret sexual teachings of a jade dragon, and that
Oh,
one
right
goes
on.
by. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you've been having some fun with that. But tell us a little bit about the occult scene in Texas and what it's like.
Oh, really? I've been on my own, so I really can't tell you what the scenery's like. I mean, if you tell me, I'm gonna tell you it's a desert. You
No,
know?
I'm saying like, like any occult witchcraft shops, stuff where you go
Yeah,
to buy magical supplies, are you able to meet up with other occultists in person and have like a community thing or maybe group rituals, that type of thing?
yeah. Nah, I haven't. A lot of the botanicas, the stores that sell the herbs and stuff like that, and the rosaries and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's it's not what's up. I'll be looking for some real tools, occult tools, and they don't have them there. They don't even have obsidian arrowheads. That's hard to find, So it's
Mhm.
just and occult books you can't find it in there either. So it's just like some watered down mainstream stuff over here. But we're gonna change that with this reentry program I got. We're gonna grow out here in Texas, and we're gonna get the game right, and it's gonna be a whole different scene out here, man.
Right on, man. I think that me and you with our hard work can change the mentality of the Latino people because I know you can vouch for this is that a lot of people in the Latin community, when they find out you're into the occult, a lot of people just want to stay away because a lot of us were raised Christian, Catholic, that type of thing. And then they have this mentality of, oh, okay, well, I'm with God. And if it's not of God, I don't want nothing to do with that. Now, the younger people, a lot of them do have an open mind, more of an open mind, but it's still a lot of people that are just, well, I don't want nothing to do with that. They still have to they're still corrupted by that Christian mentality. What do you think about that?
Yeah, conditioning is at an all-time high right now. I'd yeah, it's a hard thing to crack. But you know what? It's something that can be done, and it can be done through laughter. You know what I'm saying? Like once you get into this occult stuff really deep, and you start seeing like there's a lot more to spirituality than what the Christians are already getting, and once you're able to show them that, it comes real easy because you can just joke on the certain concepts of just a regular Christian. You know what I'm saying? You can the way I teach is you can crack jokes on them and to the point where they're like, you know what? That's how suckers think, and I'm not a sucker. So it's
Okay.
really easy for the mind to shift. So there's a lot of work to be done. I'm not gonna lie, but it could be done, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And it's been fun. You know, I've been doing it, and it's fun.
Right on, man. Yeah, I mean, and I I commend your passion. I think that spirituality and occultism, it is in our blood. Aztec blood. We have a we have a very deep heritage in that. I think that passion carries down to nowadays. Um, but but yeah, man. If so, like as far as like a spiritual path, do you follow any particular spiritual path? Like, what would you consider yourself? Like, what type of an occultist, if any label you put on yourself?
Damn, that's a good question. I would say chaos magician for sure because I mess with it all. I love it all.
Mm.
I love it all, and yeah. So I would say I'm a either I wouldn't say I'm a mystic. I would say I'm a magician. And I guess you could say chaos magician. But yeah, man, I like getting it into all the different practices that are out there because, like I said, I'm building this re-entry system, and it's good to see our hinted teaching different spiritual teachings, even though it's something that we might not get into. So we'll have a Mexican Sufi teaching Sufi. I don't know if how you feel about that, but to see my people to be studying in Morocco and be speaking
Yeah,
this Arabic language, to me that's a beautiful thing. Instead of this
I
hate,
think
"Oh, you this and I'm this and I'm this. That you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing too. I think that we as Mexican Americans, as Chicanos, Mexicans, however people want to label us, I think we need to get back to our spiritual roots. I think that, like, take for instance, my family had converted to Christianity 3, 4 generations back, so a lot of the maybe some of the brujeria or maybe some of the Aztec practices or even Santa Muerte, all that was wiped from my family. So when I left Christianity, um, all I had to, I mean, all that was available to me is the occult books I could find at the bookstore or the library. Books by LaVey, by Aleister Crowley, um, Israel Regardie. That kind of started my occult path right there. But I think it's important that we go back to our spiritual roots. Even as much as embracing Aztec and Mayan spiritual teachings. I think that's something very valuable, very powerful that we can once we step into. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's something that would be nice. It just I'm like you, man. Like I had to figure out the code on my own, and there wasn't no one out there teaching this Mayan and Aztec stuff. You know what? You think that Mexico has the original documents and all the works from the Aztec and Mayans, but they don't. The British still has all that stuff. It's under that British control still. Um, Now I'm cool with a Mexican scholar historian, Eye of the Serpent. I don't know if you checked him out on YouTube, but he comes from a family from a Mexican scholar and stuff like that. He paid my way to the museum one time and stuff like that. So is there's people out there still teaching it too. I just can't find some of the shit that I learned, I can't find it in the Aztec and Mayan teachings. But once I think
Right.
we can get someone who can find the stuff, the same teachings, but in a different language, in our original language, that would be dope. It wasn't for me. I had to go through the Egyptian to start off Egyptian, then to the Western occultism and stuff like that. But there's no one.
Well,
Just
anyone who's watching who may be interested in Aztec or Mayan spirituality, they can go on this channel and check out we have a playlist called Mesoamerican Spirituality where Gazelem and I break down different Aztec and Mayan um, spiritual rites. They're mostly sacrificial rites, but it's a start. We've done some digging and kind of shed some light on that. But there's so much more that needs to be brought out, and I think that's important. I would love to see it come out in my lifetime. Definitely.
that would be dope. But like you're saying too, it's not out there yet.
I mean, I'm sure if we look hard enough, we could, maybe some of it is out there. Maybe some of it, maybe we just have to do some digging. I do think that I'm not a believer in coincidence. I do believe that there's a reason people like you and I and others out there who are watching this have a passion for something like that. It's for a reason.
You
We're
know what?
here.
I think I'm just hating because I wasn't because I'm just not fluid in that. Matter of fact, I'm ignorant to it, man. And damn, I hate to say it, but I'm ignorant to a lot of the information from the Aztec and Mayan stuff. And I know that's crazy. Like JoJo, why didn't you? I always get this question, JoJo. Why didn't you get into your own stuff, your own background? Well, it's because I started off by studying the oppression. Why are we so oppressed? And then I started learning that a lot of people who oppressed us learned their stuff from Egypt. So I automatically went to Egypt and worked my way back to Western occultism. But yeah, man,
Well,
that's just
like my Aztec and Mayan spirituality. I mean, like deep teachings, like that's not really as mainstream as let's say the Egyptians or other cultures. I mean, you turn on the History Channel, you turn on TV, everyone's talking about the Egyptians and their practices and that type of thing. But I think that there's so much more to uncover with Aztec and Mayan spirituality, even indigenous, because us, Chicanos, we have indigenous blood as well. Where at least myself, I'm Mexican and I'm Native American as well, and I'm sure you have some Native in you as well. That carries in our blood too. I think a lot of Native practices need to be brought to light too.
yeah, I think that's something that I need to look into, and I think that's something I'm gonna look into I need an instructor like that that's gonna be part of this reentry center because people are gonna be interested in this, and for some reason I looked it over, and I'm glad that you brought that to my attention because I'm most definitely gonna try to make that available.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool, like if in that center, there was a Native American shaman or an Aztec shaman or something like that that can kind of help guide people to a new awakening and to a new way of thinking. I think there's a lot that they have to offer. It's just an idea I'm throwing out there.
No, most definitely I'm gonna have to find something like that for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jojo, it's been a great conversation. Do you have any links that um, you can plug or anything you can send me that I can put in the video description where if anyone is interested in this or wants to look more into it, there's somewhere they can go to look at it.
Yeah, so right now it's still working in the process. Um, right now the only thing I'm able to give out is my Cash App, and I'm asking for any kind of donations right now to just help me move locations. Right now, I outgrown my space, and so I'm doing this all on my own, independent prison reformer out here in Texas, and so if anybody knows how big a deal that is and wants to donate, then I'll gladly give out my Cash App, and that's all I got right
Okay,
now.
I'll put that in the video description if anyone feels they want to donate to this cause and help prison reformation. So, but yeah, JoJo, thanks for coming on to the show, and thank you for your time.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I did want to mention is that is the graduation ceremony that's going to be going down, and this program is an amazing thing. Is you're seeing your family getting out of prison 9 months later. That whole ceremonial graduation thing is it's something to see. It's to see people's parents seeing their son get credentials from different universities is good, because I tie in some of that. I'm working with some of these universities as well to when it comes to shamanic journaling,
Right.
shamanic journey,
Right.
doing that transpersonal psychology. That's something that a lot of these people will be certified in, and so it's good to see them walk that stage with some kind of university credentials after just being in prison. It looks real good in front of the family, and it's a amazing ritual in itself.
Powerful thing. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, yeah, I'll have that below in the video description if anyone feels they want to go ahead and donate to that. And again, JoJo Sanchez, thanks again for coming on. And anyone who's watching, make sure you like and subscribe to Dark Sorcery.